Deemed rehabilitated and real entertaining. This is the Carl Jackson Podcast.
Welcome to this Wednesday edition of the Carl Jackson Show podcast, your daily dose of objective truth in a world of lies. The left hates our national anthem. They hate our flag, and they also hate patriots that are willing to fight for this country and everything that it stands for. As well, they also hate congressional representatives who represent you, people that love America. I'm going to be talking about that and more in this edition of the Carl Jackson Show podcast. Please stay tuned for some quick program messaging. All right, welcome back to the Carl Jackson Show podcast. Today's podcast is brought to you in part by MyPillow.com. MyPillow.com. Mike Lindell has built a fabulous company in MyPillow. And by the way, he's got a great new offer out. Buy one, get one free offer for the new MyPillow 2.0. All you have to do is use my name. Yes, I have that type of swagger. All right, so go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener square, and enter my name in the promo code CARL. And you'll get a buy one, get one free offer. Or if you prefer, you can give them a call at 800-858-0263. The new MyPillow 2.0 comes with a regulating a temperature regulating fabric, if you will, that dissipates heat. So now the pillow is softer, it's smoother, and it's cooler, giving you an even better night's sleep, if you can believe that. By the way, this product comes with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee, as does all of Mike Lindell's products at MyPillow.com. American jobs, American manufacturing, right? American products, and a great night's sleep. MyPillow.com, promo code Carl, or give them a call, 800-858-0263. Real quick, too, let me talk to you about Pardoned by Grace, the movie Pardoned by Grace. Guys, we need some inspiration, don't we? Faith always brings some level of inspiration. Our faith does, or stories that relate to our faith. I want to talk to you about Pardoned by Grace. This is from the makers of Graham Family Films. It comes a powerful and inspiring true story that's going to touch your heart, that's going to renew your faith. Introducing Pardoned by Grace, that's the name of the movie. It's the incredible journey of Scott Heiberger. He's played by actor Joey Lawrence, a convicted criminal turned prison minister who defies all the odds and receives an unlikely pardon to continue his ministry on the outside, featuring Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter Michael W. Smith that plays Heiberger's pastor. The movie Pardoned by Grace showcases the transformative power of redemption and the boundless reach of God's love and his mercy. You can watch Pardoned by Grace on Salem Now, and when you purchase a copy of the DVD at salemnow.com, portions of that sale will be donated to Scott Heiberger's nonprofit prison organization, which is called Behind the Wire Ministries. They provide hope and support to the incarcerated. So together we can share the power of faith and forgiveness with those who need it most. Please visit salemnow.com, salemnow.com, salemnow.com to purchase your DVD and donate to this amazing ministry today. Okay, guys, let's get into it. I want to first play. There's several things that I want to talk about, and then I'm going to bring up, just give you some of the headlines that are in the news today. Very important headlines that I just want to touch on, but I'll only do that briefly because it's really important that we get into the stories that happened today. This story I didn't see until this morning, and it was breaking in different places. It's a TikTok video that went viral. It only takes a few seconds. Gabe is setting it up now, and we'll play it for you shortly here. But as I said at the very beginning of the opening, the left hates our national anthem. They hate our flag. They hate what America stands for. They hate patriots that are willing to stand up for and defend this country. And they hate representatives that frankly represent you, that represent people like you and I, that actually love America, that are proud to be Americans. And I'm going to give you stories in each one of these cases that I think are extremely important. Matt Gaetz was attacked. He was attacked. That is another story that you might not be hearing about. As a matter of fact, I started to lead off with that because I think it is one of the most important little stories that we'll hear this week. And I say little story kind of jokingly, because I think it's a big deal, because it's representative of who the left is today. Guys, I'm going to say something that that might sound a little weird for a podcast, but I'm just being completely real with you, because that's what I like to do here. Learn some type of self-defense. Learn some type of way to defend yourself, or an escape, an attack. Because the left are violent. We're not violent. The left is violent. I'm going to talk to you about this Proud Boys case, likely ending. It's deadlocked right now. Hopefully it's ended in a hung jury, at least for now. I think this is very important. Valiant News, who frankly I didn't hear about until I discovered them going through Revolver News, but they wrote a very interesting piece on the matter. And so I want to discuss that with you. But first, before I do, let's do this. Let me just go through some quick headlines, and then I'm going to have Gabe roll this video, because there are some very important things that are happening in the news. First off, let me start off by saying the illegal alien that murdered, execution style, 5 of his neighbors. I just found out last night that one of the kid that he murdered, the 8-year-old or 9-year-old kid that he murdered, was literally friends with his son and played with his son. And I heard a person on Fox News, I forget the gentleman's name, an attorney, but used to be a cop as well, say that the way that the murders were conducted, this guy may have been a professional killer. I wouldn't doubt it, because every single one of those people were shot in the head, execution style. But that murderer has been caught, that illegal alien. Frankly, I don't think he should be privy to the laws of the land. I know since he's on American soil, he will be. But frankly, I think he should be executed and thrown in the middle of the road for the ravens to eat, or turkey vultures, or whatever they're called. So that's the way that I feel like it should go down. I know it won't go down that way. You have President Biden that's sending 1,500 troops to assist with the southern border crisis. Yet you have Karine Jean-Pierre lying to the American people and saying there is no border crisis. Folks, this lady insults all of our intelligence. If there is no border crisis, why the hell are they sending 1,500 troops to the border? You know, Ted Cruz, he was on an interview with someone, and let me see if I can find the article real quickly here. I'm sorry. I read like a gang of articles in the morning. Some I use and some I don't. I just want to be aware of some of the topics of the day. And now, of course, I can't find it. But he was on an interview with someone, and he reminded me that, listen, you had during Trump's administration, when Trump left office, we were at a 45-year low as far as illegal border crossings were concerned. And in the subsequent years, we had illegal border crossings up at 1.7 million, over 2 million since Joe Biden's administration. This fiscal year alone, 2023 fiscal year alone, we're already at 1.2, 1.3 million illegal immigrants entering. And that does not include the 1.7 million gotaways that we believe exist inside of the interior of the United States that have come into the country under Joe Biden's leadership. So Karine Jean-Pierre and the left just lies to you. So that's why they're sending 1,500 troops to the border. Okay, moving on. Just a couple more headlines I want to get into, and then we'll talk about this podcast. You have this: Biden's energy leader does not realize their policies make the U.S. more reliant on China for rare minerals. I wanted to have this audio clip for you today, but we'll play it another day, perhaps tomorrow, because I'm going to be arguing for the case for cash tomorrow. So maybe we'll have that. But this from the Federalist: Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley pressed Interior Secretary Deb Haaland on a leaked memo from the Bureau of Ocean and Energy Management Tuesday that shows the Biden administration prioritizing climate change over energy security. All right. Very important. In March, internal records from the Department of Interior revealed the administration sacrificing proactive resource development with higher royalties on leases to promote left-wing climate agenda. After outlining China's dominance in refining critical minerals, the Missouri Senator Josh Hawley charged the preeminent federal lands agency of choking off domestic development of American natural resources. When he questions this lady, and again, I should have had that ready for you. Forgive me. I'll make sure that I have that tomorrow. For those of you that may not have heard it, when he questions this lady, she did not know where some of these minerals come from. She did not realize that we had to get some of these minerals from China, these rare minerals. It's fascinating. And this lady is in our federal government. These people have an agenda. They have an agenda. It's really as simple as that. Another story, the president of university is in a hot seat for liking tweets questioning the jab and saying the gender surgery is child mutilation. That's President Mark Tykosinski. He's is under fire after liking a number of tweets from Alex Berenson, who questioned the jab and calling child sex changes child mutilation. He's a chief executive officer of Thomas Jefferson University. So now you're in trouble if you like tweets. All right, this is who the left is. They hate American ideals. This is why. Listen, the reason why I'm sharing these stories with you, because you have to have a silver lining, or at least I do in these stories. And it's simply this. This is a battle cry, guys. This is a battle cry. The good news is we do have an election in front of us where we can stop this stuff. As a matter of fact, we have several. We have some in 2023 that are coming up. Make sure you donate to conservative candidates to make sure we take this country back. Not just your state, but other states, other locales. Send money where you have to make sure that we defeat the leftists, because they've co-opted the Democrat Party. There is no liberal anymore. There is no liberal in the Democrat Party. There's silence, or they're scared to speak up, or they're silenced because they're scared to speak up. You got the Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy, warns loneliness could be as bad as smoking 12 cigarettes a day. Kids are, and honestly, I've talked about this months and months ago. As a result of the lockdown, kids are experiencing an unprecedented amount of depression, anxiety, and loneliness. Children are. Not just adults, children are. And it's led to higher rates of suicide during the lockdown. So this is nothing new, but apparently a doctor has come out and said it. You got Novak, I can't pronounce his name, Djokovic, cleared for U.S. travel after the jab mandate has been lifted. You've got the grandfather of AI. Where is this? Sorry about that. You got the grandfather of AI that quit Google. He's even afraid of where AI is going. The guy that invented it. He regrets having done it. I'll get into that some tomorrow when I talk about the case for cash. So please make sure you tune in to that. And guys, by the way, let me ask you this. Let me ask you to do this right from the get-go. I need some of you guys to subscribe to our Rumble channel. If you want to make sure that you hear everything that I have to say unfiltered, uncensored, subscribe to our Rumble channel, The Carl Jackson Show on Rumble. We're also on YouTube. I do need you to subscribe there too, just because it helps to get our name out. But I need you to understand that Rumble is the free speech platform. Our show yesterday was not, we've got no clicks, no likes whatsoever. I hate that that's part of the business, but it is, which tells me that YouTube has censored it. And they're not allowing it to be seen. You bypass that by subscribing to our Rumble channel, The Carl Jackson Show on Rumble. And please, wherever you go to get your podcast, please subscribe. We're on The Carl Jackson Show. We're on Apple. We're on Google. We're on Spotify. Also on social media. You can find me on Facebook. All of these places on social media. The Carl Jackson Show. I think just Twitter and Getter, it's Carl Jackson Show. But even if you type in The Carl Jackson Show, I'll come up. So all of these places, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Getter, True Social, The Carl Jackson Show. We need you. We need your support because they are trying to silence me just like they're trying to silence every patriot. All right. So Those are some headlines for today. Now, let's go ahead and start with my three main points, three main topics. And again, I was going to start with Matt Gaetz because he was attacked. I'll share that story with you briefly, but I want you to view this video, please. Again, rumble.com, The Carl Jackson Show. Hopefully we don't get censored on YouTube today. The Carl Jackson Show. We're not trying to, but I'm learning the ropes here. I'm a old school fool that's getting used to the new thing. Okay. All right. So here's this video. Here's this video. This person that recorded this video, an alleged American, thought hearing the national anthem. Actually, let me do this. I do this, and then Gabe will roll it. I want to make sure that I get this commie's quote correct here. At Rainbow Oaks restaurant, just an hour outside of San Diego, a TikTok user shared that she had faced the most dangerous quote unquote situation she had ever been in at noon while she was eating her stack of pancakes. About a dozen people, man, so she should be so happy that she lives in America. She can go to just drive around her town and find a place to eat, no problem, and get a stack of pancakes. But she's not. She's an immigrant. About a dozen people stood up for the Star Spangled Banner being played on the bar's TVs. As first reported by Fox, the TikTok user who goes by the screen name of Paulina Appa _O recorded the patriotic display and included the caption. Listen to this, and I quote, "By far the most dangerous situation I've ever been in. Hashtag God bless America. Hashtag get out. Hashtag illegal. Hashtag white people things." Close quote. Now, I want you to take a look at the most dangerous situation this heifer, excuse my language, has ever been in. This is left-wing chaos. These people are sick. These people are twisted. These people are demented. These people have no meaning. These people have no purpose. This video proves it to you. Here's what was so dangerous. Gabe, let's roll it. All right, there it is. There it is. Did you feel compelled to go grab your AR? This is who we're dealing with. These people hate America. They hate America. In another story, let me bring you. Oh, man, I just clicked on the wrong thing here. Excuse me. I want to tell you about Matt Gaetz. I think this is a bigger story. I hope that it gets plenty of play today. I hope that Matt Gaetz, whether you love him or hate him, I hope that he is everywhere. So the woman, here it is, this in Newsweek. I think I originally read it on either Breitbart or Daily Wire, but here it is on Newsweek. A woman accused of throwing a drink at Representative Matt Gaetz over the weekend could face jail time now that the Florida Republican intends to press criminal charges against her, and I'm glad he is. On Tuesday, the Walton County Sheriff's Office confirmed that the 41-year-old Tallahassee woman, a woman by the name of Selena Chambers, was arrested in connection with the incident. Authorities allege that she intentionally threw a glass of wine at Gaetz and shouted obscenities at him during a Saturday encounter at the South Walton Beach Wine and Food Festival. County officials said Chambers was charged with 1 count of misdemeanor battery and 1 count of battery on an elected official. She was released on $1,000 bond. In a statement on Twitter, Gaetz thanked the sheriff's office for its quote-unquote swift action and said he would press charges against Chambers, quote, in order to uphold the civility our community deserves, close quote. I'll get back to that in just a second because it's very important. But I'll give you his explanation. He says it's quite all right for folks to let their voice be heard with an opinion or a comment. Folks can shout and scream all they want. This is America, the congressman said during his Firebrand podcast on Tuesday. But he goes on to say, if we start allowing stuff to be thrown or hurled, if we allow people to be harmed, there is a severe risk of escalation and accident, close quote. In Florida, the misdemeanor charge has a maximum punishment of a year in jail and a $1,000 fine, but battery of an elected official, which is a felony, carries a maximum of 4 years behind bars. Now, I don't have time to go ahead and read more of the story, but I'll just share this with you. He was actually at this food and wine event, wherever again it was in Walton County. He was at a food and wine event. He was out there with his new bride. He was shaking hands of people, meeting people. Most people were cordial and friendly with him. He was speaking to a gentleman that was apparently taking pictures with him and talking with him, shaking his hand as this woman comes up, starts yelling at him, throws wine on him, and it hits the other gentleman as well. Come to find out, this lady is a left-wing kook. She writes about being part of the resistance and some weird crap she had written, part of some weird spiritual stuff she had written as well. But she claims to be a part of the resistance. This is like a close to middle-aged white woman. Guys, these people, imagine this is a middle-aged white woman. Here's what I want you. This is why I said you need to learn self-defense defense tactics. Guys, don't be naive that the left won't come for you. Don't be naive to believe that the left won't actually take a swing at you or do something violent. Be aware of your surroundings. And honestly, that's just common sense. And when it comes with being, you go to any event, just be aware, be alert of your surroundings. But sadly, if you're an American that actually loves America, if you wear any paraphernalia or clothing that suggests you love America, if people happen to know you and know that you love America, unfortunately, you have to be on your guard. And ladies, this is extremely important, men. And I'm not telling you to learn how to be a UFC fighter, but at the very least, you should learn how to use self-defense methods in order to get away from an attacker so that you can run to a safe place, safe person, call the cops, so on, etc. But this is what it's coming to, because here's what the left has done. They have gotten people so mad and so angry, so mad and so angry that they hate you. People that may have disagreed with you just a few years ago, but now they hate you. And this is exactly what the left wants. This is part of their modus operandi, to make people violent towards you, to build up their own brown shirts, to intimidate you. That's exactly what the left wants. Now, I'll bring you this last story. This from Valiant News. Breaking: jurors likely deadlocked in January 6th Proud Boys trial. Now, this broke last night, but the trial was to resume this morning. At least the jury was to go back in front of the judge this morning at 9 a.m. So I have not seen follow-up as of yet, but let me share this story with you. Here's a summary. According to a report by NBC News, Ryan Riley, the jury in the Proud Boys trial is now deadlocked and just asked the judge in the case to provide more specific instruction on the definition of quote-unquote seditious conspiracy. Okay? This means, and I'll get into that term later, seditious conspiracy. So just hold on, por favor. All right. This means the primary charge of the highest profile January 6th case is now in doubt. The judge, again, is expected to give instructions to the jury on how to interpret the law and break the deadlock. I hope the deadlock is not broken. A failure to convict can mean this. All right. So the failure to convict the Proud Boys on seditious conspiracy would be a major blow to the DOJ, as this is just one of only 2 trials of the so-called January 6th insurrection where anyone has actually been charged with insurrection. Carl, what do you mean? It was a major insurrection. No, it wasn't an insurrection. There weren't weapons there, as the left claimed and continues to claim. Of the more than 1,000 others who have been accused by the DOJ, the vast majority have been non-violent offenders guilty of trespassing or unlawful parading, quote unquote. Other charges under a novel legal theory, so-called, include felony obstruction or a felony obstruction, of an official proceeding. This is, again, a novel legal theory. that the law, which was originally written, listen to me, to combat corporate fraud in federal court, is now being used to criminalize those that may have inconvenienced Congress. First-time offenders are charged in this. First-time offenders, people that have been great citizens, great neighbors, have never had any problem with the law. You got first-time offenders charged in these January 6 cases, and they're not charged with violent crimes. They're not charged with insurrection, but they've been convicted by DC jurors in minutes. In minutes. Why? Because people in DC and that freaking snake-infested bubble hate America. Frankly, I think everything but the White House should be moved out of DC, and that includes Congress. I think the Supreme Court needs to be moved to, I don't know, Montana or Iowa or Oklahoma, something. I think these places need to be moved. They need to be broken up so people can't have these incestuous relationships. Frankly, I don't give a damn if Republicans and Democrats get along. I want them to figure out legislation and get the hell out and stop trying to find ways to rob us and make themselves rich. Because that's, frankly, what a lot of them do on both sides. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. So 92.5% of the District of Columbia voters cast a ballot for Joe Biden in 2020. 92%. You don't think they hate people that love America? You don't think they hate people that voted for Trump? This is a re-education camp. This is what it's about. We're going to take your rights. We're going to re-educate you. You're never going to vote for Republicans again. Damn for sure aren't going to vote for Trump. The Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio, it wasn't even at the January 6th mostly peaceful protest. Tarrio has been accused of being a white supremacist, but he happens to be a black Afro-Cuban. Did you guys know that? They say the Proud Boys is a white supremacist organization, but the leader is a black Afro-Cuban. Now, let me give you some distinctions about treason in America, because the left wants you to believe that there's some real treason going on here. While many Americans, the columnist writes at Valiant News, while many Americans mistakenly believe that a betrayal of the federal government is treason, as it essentially was in English common law, the framers of the Constitution worried that an overly broad definition of treason would be abused, as it often was under British rule. In the American legal context, treason is more narrowly defined as waging war on the United States. Did anyone on J6 wage war against the United States? Giving aid and comfort to foreign enemies in a time of war. Did anyone do that on J6? In the United States, the equivalent of common law treason is what they call seditious conspiracy. I told you I would get back to that. So in layman's terms, this is a crime for two or more people, all right, to plan to use violence to, listen to this. This is a very important word. Plan to use violence to overthrow, put down, destroy, or wage war against the U.S. government. Is that what people were doing by protesting an election like Democrats did in 2016, like Democrats did with George W. Bush in 2000? Another definition in the United States, again, the equivalent of common law treason is seditious conspiracy. In layman's terms, it is a crime for two or more people to plan to use violence to, I told you, to overthrow, put down, destroy, or wage war against the U.S. government. Also to oppose the authority of the U.S. government. Were they opposing the authority of the U.S. government? Or did they believe they were participating in the process that free speech allows them to do by protesting? Were they trying to, another one, prevent or delay the enforcement of any American law? I wasn't aware that any American law was going down. Steal federal property? If someone stole federal property, fine. Charge them with stealing federal property. Is that treason? The law was originally championed, listen to this, by pre-Civil War slave states, pro-slave states, in other words, in response to abolitionist John Brown's raid on the federal arsenal at Harper's Ferry in 1859. That's where this comes from. The crime has only been charged a handful of times since that period of time, with the vast majority of cases ending in acquittal. So here's the DOJ's theory. Is that the Proud Boys conspired to obstruct the peaceful transition of power and oppose the authority of the federal government with violence. The leader wasn't there. Enrique Tarrio wasn't there. However, here's a problem that the corrupt DOJ under Merrick Garland is running into. They have a difficulty with convicting the Proud Boys of seditious conspiracy. Because the government has made listen to this, the government has made no allegation that the Proud Boys actually had a plan to breach the Capitol, let alone use violence to change the outcome of the election. So here's what the Proud Boys did do. They clearly planned to protest. They were prepared also to use violence against anyone who attacked other protesters and wanted to support the legal challenge to the election that many anticipated Vice President Mike Pence would do, but he didn't. Still, the idea that being prepared to use violence for self-defense, that's what they were looking to do. They were looking to defend people that would be attacked against Antifa members, you know, the left's other set of brown shirts besides Black Lives Matter. And being present at a protest of a presidential transition combines. Let me just read that over again. The idea that being prepared to use violence or self-defense and being present at a protest of a presidential transition combines to equal violent revolution is a horrible argument to make, a tenuous argument to make. Even some left-wing lawfare people or lawyers pointed out that the argument is a massive stretch. Left-wing civil libertarian lawyer Jonathan Turley warned in late 2020 that the application of sedition statutes against rioters in the context in regards to BLM rioters, saying such a use of sedition, and I'm quoting, laws directly threatens free speech values and would return to dark periods of the suppression of dissent in our country, close quote. Why aren't they using the same application to BLM? Because BLM and Antifa, at least according to the left, didn't break laws. It's amazing. A Lawfare senior editor, Roger Parlev, managed to get the exact text of the jury note that was on Twitter. There's another attorney, an attorney by the name of Jonathan Mosley. He is not a part of the trial, but represented defendant Zachary Rehl in the past to decipher what the note means. In his interpretation, this points to the messy, and the note was basically jurors asking to define what sedition, what was it? Seditious conspiracy meant exactly. There was some confusion. They want it clarified. So Jonathan Mosley defended Zachary Rehl in the past to decipher what the note means. In his interpretation, he says this points to the messy and convoluted way the trial has dealt with the concept of conspiracy, quote unquote. While most laymen would consider a conspiracy to mean an agreed upon plan to commit an illegal act, such as robbing a bank, he says, quote, the prosecution wants it all as in ALL ways, close quote. According to the prosecution in this case and the earlier Oath Keepers case, listen to this. This stuff is such a sham. A conspiracy can exist in the absence of a plan. And while different conspirators have all have different goals, as long as they share the same unlawful objective. So now the prosecutors against Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys are telling you now they're redefining conspiracy, and conspiracy can exist in the absence of a plan. Mosley, the attorney, goes on to say if the difference between an objective and a goal sounds confusing, it's because it is, close quote. The left hates our flag. hates our anthem. They hate patriots like the Proud Boys that are willing to defend patriots that are getting beat up by Antifa and Black Lives Matter commies. And they hate congressional representatives that stand up for American ideals, that stand up and represent you and I. That's who we're up against, guys. Get involved. Please get involved. It's up to us to save this country. I appreciate you tuning in to this edition of the Carl Jackson Show podcast. Again, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you go to get your podcast. All right. Please find me on social media. All right. The Carl Jackson Show. You can subscribe to the podcast. I should say The Carl Jackson Show, Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you go to get your podcast. Remember, we need you to subscribe to our Rumble channel, but I was going to say RooTube, Gabe, but also our YouTube channel, The Carl Jackson Show, is where you can, yeah, that would be good. That's where you can find us, all right? But Rumble is whenever you're afraid that you're going to be censored, Rumble is the place to go. Obviously, I'm talking about January 6th. So chances are I may be censored on YouTube today. I will not be on Rumble. The Carl Jackson Show on Rumble. All things social media, The Carl Jackson Show. Until next time, guys, do not grow weary doing good. God bless you.